ban against TSM because they've shown to be such a multi-threat team, and it's really just a team where you kind of have to go down the line and say, what champions are we just most scared of in general? Because TSM can pretty much carry from any lane and play most of the top of the ladder champions in those roles.
Aurelia banned away from Ray. We got to see his Jarvan yesterday, so...
Talk about champion pools. Yeah, Ray is deep here. He's had huge Fizz games. He had the Jarvan game. He even played the Shen game, the single Shen game that we've seen this season. They didn't quite utilize that as effectively maybe as they could have. And I definitely like to see Ray on a more damage-dealing champion, you know, either bruiser, you know, backline diver, or split pushing. So see what they do grab for him. Interesting LeBlanc ban here against Bjergsen. They're really, really scared. I mean, everybody's seen what Bjergsen can do to people on that champion. And as we said, Keane is going to be a target. If Bjergsen earns his own advantage in mid lane, the rest of the team's very happy to back that up and pressure that champion, you know, dive whoever happens to be there for the enemy team. And Keane does not want to have that coming his way.
Yeah, so the first pick for TSM, you just saw Hauntzer sort of hover through some of Ray's picks. He's played Echo a few times. He's played Jarvan once. And before finally settling in on that rek'sai for the first pick. So APX giving it the old hover right now. I think they're just trying to get our hopes up. Yeah,
I mean, the rek'sai pick is become super standard. Most pick jungler now with the nerfs to Nidalee and Kindred, although Nidalee obviously is finding herself more on the ban portion of pick bans than the pick portion. But Kindred's been the one that really has started getting through with those nerfs because the nerfs hit her harder in competitive than they did in standard. There's your hope stash, Dom. Not going to early pick a Jarvan, just threatening it there with the hovers. But yeah, the Kindred going over to round 2 here does have to focus a lot more on stacks, as people have been saying. But a lot of the ones we have seen have still had really strong early games. If you give over a couple early kills there, she still really snowballs extremely hard, and maybe even harder than before, because the extra stacks, you can actually get over the damage that she used to be at.
We saw how effective Proxen was with it yesterday, so we'll see if Shrimp can sort of learn from that in this next set. Now, TSM have already gone for their next 2 picks. Swain locked in for TSM, along with Lucian for Doublelift. Now, this is 6-11.
Yes, it is. Both those champions did get nerfs, but again, they were sort of even-handed nerfs, you know, not too harsh. And Lucian's still second most picked AD carry across the world this week. It's definitely still very high up there. They're trying to get kind of a mid-range teamfight skirmish comp here for TSM so far. rek'sai does have a lot of good early and mid-game control, especially farming out the other jungler. Lucian usually has a pretty strong lane, as does Swain. So TSM, they're not looking to show any moments of weakness so far in their curve in this game. And APX, it looks like a little bit more scaling here, but there it is. The Fizz that we're assuming is going to Ray.
Yeah. We've seen him play it twice already, so we are expecting it to go towards that top lane for Ray, which means that could be Swain to answer it, unless Bjergsen decides he wants that Swain for himself in the mid lane. Finally, Ashe locked in for Apollo. Now, we already saw it earlier today with Keith, and it was pretty good at getting picks, but it just didn't have enough damage.
I do like it, though, because so many people have been talking about how there's a lot of opportunity to bring your crowd control and your utility from the bottom lane. Ashe and Karma, if that is a support Karma, brings so much, because you have disengage and engage in that bottom lane. With her speed up, plus the Ashe arrows, a lot of control if you can, you know, position accordingly, because you have so much control over the speed of your team and the speed of the enemy team due to the slows that you can apply. Kind of opens up the windows for your damage dealers in your jungler and your top laner, the Fizz and the Kindred, to work around. That's going to be hard to work around, though. Azir wall, even though it did get nerfed to 3 seconds, still very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, the damage didn't really get touched that much, but TSM for their next picks, they're going to take Azir and Bard for Bjergsen and Biofrost. That's going to put that Swain in the top lane up against Ray's Fizz.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup there. I think Ray feels pretty confident in that, but again, that's one that really swings with junglers. Swain, everyone always cries about, he's, you know, bully in the lane phase. He's so annoying now. It's too easy for him to CS with the Crow, but he still doesn't have escapes. So this is a guy waddling around. He's hobbling with his cane up in the top lane. It's a long lane. Go gank him, or at least get some vision applied there for your jungler, and you can definitely turn that lane around in your favor. Ray's definitely apt to do that on the Fizz as well. And there comes Keane Zilean once again, going to allow Ray to dive to the backline. We saw it before, enabling the Jarvan. Now it's just going to be the same thing on Fizz.
Yeah, so it looks like Apex have sort of returned to something that has worked for them before. Enable Ray to make magic happen.
Yeah, exactly. They've got support basically from the other lanes, with the Zilean applying the AoE stuns as well as the revive, and then all that CC and utility we talked about from the bottom lane here for Apex. Looks like they've got a pretty well-rounded comp. They are going to be running the double teleports as well. I assume that Bjergsen won't run that teleport, even though we have seen a couple Azirs opt into it. I'm still not a fan, even though double TP is so strong in the current meta. He definitely needs that cleanse so he doesn't get locked down. If he can have that DPS uptime, that's all you need for one of those late game team fights.
And we were talking about this a little bit earlier as well. Bjergsen has been playing so exceptionally well this past weekend. Well, now he's on a huge carry on that Azir. Keane's going to have his work cut out for him.
He definitely is, and it's not just going to be a 1 versus 1 either, as we know in this matchup.
Yeah, well, we're almost ready to kick this one off. Send us into the game by tweeting with hashtag TSM win or hashtag APX win to shout out who you think will win here in this game 1 of TSM versus Apex. We've got a very strong lineup between these two. Will TSM continue to the undefeated streak, or will Apex be able to take a win off of the cream of the NALCS crop?
Well, I'm going to wait to see who's going to be hitting their long-range ultimates in this game before I make that call, because both of these teams have a lot of, while they do have well-rounded team fighting, which is essential. Let's let the chance wash over you.
Yeah.
Both these teams do have, as we said, some playmaking ability from the bottom lane. Bard is really good at picking people off. As is Ashe, obviously, with the arrow. So we'll see how well Apollo's accuracy stacks up to Biofrost's accuracy, because Biofrost's Bard in his debut week was extremely impressive. And it's all going to be about, these cross-map movements, trying to affect all these lanes that are pretty volatile lanes, honestly.
Oh, Biofrost, he found him. They were right there over the wall. So he takes a bit of harass from Apollo and Xpecial before heading back. He's actually going to have enough time to get a recall as well. And it doesn't, I say this preemptively, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a lane swap, as everyone is currently on the bottom side of the map. Both Hauntzer and Ray content to go for that 1v1 top lane.
Yeah, it also looks like we're both just going to have them start first camp as well.
Yeah.
So they should be coming in even. We have seen a couple teams mess up the early camps, but that definitely should not be the norm, and I feel like it's very simple on these two, so should be standard starts. And I do enjoy the standard starts immensely, because we get to see more freedom for the junglers. You have so many more options, and that's really the exciting thing about playing jungle, is keeping your options open and being able to react to the game as it unfolds. You got to take stock of all the lanes and how they are playing out. And try and manage your health well enough that you can actually act on the opportunities that do present themselves.
Yeah, so we do see Shrimp and Svenskeren both going for the double refillable potion. So we'll see if they can effectively manage that. Some basic regeneration already included in the kit of both of those champions too.
Yeah, both those champions are very, very... it's very easy for them to stay high health in the jungle. A couple of poke abilities here landing in the bottom lane as they start trading, and both junglers look like they will end on the bottom side of the map. If you take a look at their routes here, Kindred Shrimp actually decided to pass up the early red buff, and that is a choice about managing your health and about not using early stacks of his potion. For some reason, he wanted to be on the bottom side of this map much quicker and at very, very full health. To try and answer Svenskeren. I guess the mark is what drew him over here without going for red buff, and the stun lowers the armor on the crab, makes it very easy to take, and he saves smite for it. You can see the added priority on getting these marks for Kindred after the nerfs, because that's where a lot of the makeup damage comes, and you can almost nullify those nerfs early on.
So with that, Apex were well prepared. You saw Apollo and Xpecial shoving in that bottom lane as well to make sure that if the fight were to break out, we could collapse. and they're continuing to harass now.
Yeah, it's kind of a dual purpose here where Kindred's going to path down to the bottom early to both support the bottom side, allow bottom to play aggressively. Ashe Karma wants to land poke early. They were hitting their skill shots, so they wanted to try and push into turret and deny a little bit of CS. Plus, able to swing down, grab the mark, and as we said, can easily clear the jungle using the passive. Not losing any health, and rek'sai gets the other Scuttle Crab.
So it's double Scuttle traded over for the 2. As you can see, blue buff, in fact, is going to be gifted over to Bjergsen as Ray completes his first recall. And teleports back towards that lane, so Svenskeren being kind enough. Oh, 3 health, there it goes.
Yeah, it doesn't really hurt rek'sai at all, as we've seen a few times, handing over the very early blue buffs. We'll see here because Keane is teleporting back into lane, and
yeah, Shrimp forces Svenskeren to flash. He can't burrow fast enough. Just wants to play it safe.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about, staying high health. Here goes Ray, though, for some aggressive moves, knowing that the jungler is just chunked out. He's going to try and push Hauntzer under that turret as well to buy himself some time. Ray's also used his teleport, though, so both the solo lanes of Apex using teleports early just for their lane presence. And Hauntzer already re-harassing him almost out of lane. It's not really going to matter, though, because there's such good control by Shrimp in the jungle.
Already we can see invading, now trying to steal away the direwolves. He doesn't actually have his smite, Svenskeren. Oh, he didn't go far enough. Shrimp was able to pull it back out of vision and it resets.
Yeah, so the reason he let it reset there is because he wanted to pull it all the way out of vision so he couldn't see from the fog of war. It was a necessary move that he had to make, yeah. Ideally, you want to stay a little bit closer so the patience doesn't run out on that monster, but didn't want to let Svenskeren see what he was up to, and gets off the counter jungle there. Probably going to cost him, though, as Svenskeren opts for the cross map. Pretty standard answers here as far as the junglers go.
Yeah, so you were talking a little bit about the sort of jungle freedom that's opened up by this as the duo lanes continue to trade it out. Well, so far, we have seen Shrimp moving around the map as much as possible, going for the first invade, in fact. And now he is going to be spotted out by a ward that Svenskeren has placed, so a little bit of priority on making sure that those lanes are safe, making sure you've got vision of the other jungler.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, that ward actually is just extra gold for Shrimp, so he's pretty happy since his Raptor buff was actually about to time out. Oh, cool, we've got this buff in here. Giving up his position wasn't a big deal. Since he's going to go to mid lane, soak up some more CS, I mean, Shrimp is having a very, very nice early game here on the Kindred. Pretty smooth. The only way it gets better than this is if you actually, get those early kills, which is the dream. But here he goes. He's going to run right through this ward, I believe. We talked about ganking Swain. He doesn't have escapes. Ray's on the Fizz. He can fully commit to it, but it looks like it's taking too long. Svenskeren finds out.
Yeah, Shrimp got caught sightseeing a little bit too long.
There goes your paint board. But yeah, you could also tell, we didn't have the camera on the top lane, but Ray does kind of have a tendency to play super aggressively when he knows he has jungle support and pretty passively when he doesn't. And you can kind of tell just by the little movements and changes in play there from your lane opponent.
So Scuttle Crab was just picked up by Shrimp as a consolation prize to the gank that he was looking for, but as he was clearing it, it marked. So that's in fact the second quick mark for Shrimp.
Always sick to have that happen. Good feeling for the Kindred.
Yeah, TSM. Vision now around the Baron buff. They've got wards all over that side of the map. Svenskeren's even down there as well. So that is the Ocean Drake. Not very high priority very early on.
Yeah, it's actually the best effect on the win rate for early game of all the Drakes. Yeah, the Ocean Drake has the highest up to like 11 or 12 minutes, I think, effect on win rates as far as the percentage goes. And you can see the difference in priority here. Apex are using most of their wards on top lane because they want to punish that Swain. If you let Swain just fully Fizz in the early game, that's where this CS discrepancy is going to come from and start to grow. And they kind of made an effort there, to send some jungle pressure up because, you want to help out the all-in melee champion so he doesn't get bullied. But the opposite end of the spectrum is, of course, TSM's side, where they've got wards on the bottom side around this Ocean Drake, you know, and pressuring into the jungle.
Ooh, Bjergsen catches Keane. Keane just
no damage.
Slides on out of there. Takes a bit of harass, but manages to keep his cool. And to talk about that a little more, you know, this is Apex, again, playing around Ray. Enable Ray to do awesome things. And so far, he's actually down about 20 CS, and TSM are content to play against him.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, Fizz into Swain matchup's going to be hard if you're alone by yourself. They did make that a little bit of an effort to head up there a couple times and allow him not to get blasted even harder, I guess.
Yeah, he's actually going to look for a bit of harass, never move just to soak a bit of damage there.
If he can burn the flash all by himself, then that in itself is huge. And that will earn him CS eventually, because it will force Hauntzer to play a bit further back and play a lot more cautiously, allowing Ray to walk up and get those melee executions on the minion. But, you know, no flash burn there. He does go for the all-in. Now without his ultimate, there's very little threat, and Hauntzer has to feel pretty secure after healing back up using the new passive on this Catalyst, just spamming spell play.
Such a strong combo on that Swain as Shrimp continues to farm it up. Svenskeren has been keeping pace on this rek'sai despite all of the free time that Shrimp has had to continue to roam around the map. He's actually going to try to head towards the top and cheat into the bush.
Yep, he has the Rafter buff as well. You can see the slight lines emanating from the champion there, so he knows for sure there's no ward inside this lane brush. Ray, as we said though, he doesn't have his ultimate now, so it would have to be a pretty hard commit from Hauntzer if they were going to take him down. Considering, you know, Hauntzer does have so much regeneration and, you know, post-level 6 Swain, decent self-healing, plus the flash is available, so maybe this is just a flash burn.
Hauntzer is going to walk right in. Yeah, he immediately flashes.
All right, well, that's a decent use of your time. Burning that flash, as we said, that might affect Hauntzer's playstyle if Ray can appropriately control the minion wave after, and it looks like Hauntzer's shoving it, so...
Oh, they're going to go back in. There's a flash from Shrimp, and Hauntzer is first blooded by Ray.
Little greedy there from Hauntzer, shoving that wave, but Svenskeren looks to answer bottom side.
Oh, flash from Apollo sidesteps the Tempered Fate. Doublelift is going to drop a culling, but the minions are going to soak a lot of it, and Apollo walks out.
Yeah, I think Apollo thought he was in turret range, but... Pop him on the head with that arrow real quick. Don't come back to my lane. Don't gank me again. Meanwhile, top lane, Shrimp with a very effective just duck out into Fog of War. Doesn't even waste any time for the repeat gank.
Yeah.
Immediately returning after burning that flash. Svenskeren and the rest of TSM, though, trying to answer and get that early game Drake. It's already, you know, kind of approaching the mid game, though.
Yeah, so this is the first Drake of the game. Spotted out just in time by Apollo, but... secured by TSM 11.5 minutes in. That's still pretty close to that 11-minute mark that you were talking about. So we'll see if that actually ends up affecting their win rate at all.
It is always good.
Yeah.
You know, out of combat regeneration's great. rek'sai probably won't have a problem with it anymore, though. Every dragon does obviously count for the Elder Dragon true damage, but some convergence on mid lane. 3 people from Apex are coming in here. Can Keane get the slow? Ooh. Cannot.
One bomb lands, but can't find the second one. Apex try to make something happen, but couldn't quite find it as Bjergsen dodges out. Ray even roamed down for a bit. He's down about 20 CS in that top lane, but with that first blood, that's certainly going to feel good.
Yeah, and you know, Fizz always kind of comes with an acceptable risk level, an acceptable CS discrepancy level as well. This is kind of bordering on, you know, you wish you a little bit better than that, but you know, they've made efforts, and now that he's got the kill, and it was a first blood kill to boot, he's feeling real good about his situation. With the cowl, it changes the matchup so much. The regeneration from, you know, small poke now of every spell profiting that extra health regen for you, and then built-in magic resist feels really nice. So I don't expect Ray to bleed any more CS, and I think that's about the threshold he's going to try and keep it at.
Yeah, we'll keep track on him for that.
Bottom
TSM
lane.
sending a lot of people bottom. Apollo has no flash. There's the magical journey. Doublelift leads the charge. There's no flash this time. Svenskeren
And they arrive in
walks
time.
right up, and there's a stun now onto Svenskeren. Ray turns it around and is knocked up, forced to hop out. Hauntzer even joined the fight, and that fight is dissuaded.
Yeah, a couple people getting a little too close to the fire there, and everybody backs off. Nobody, no harm, no foul though. Nobody goes down. Just testing the waters there from everybody. They actually do burn both teleports, so that came out pretty even, and everybody's just gonna calm down after that move.
TSM saying, be cool, man, be cool. We didn't mean it.
Yeah, same for Apollo. He's getting a little bit worried there. No ult, no flash. Gets a bit dicey there as Ashe, and you see 4 people through the magical journey.
Yep. Now Svenskeren, you can see clearing out his red buff. In fact, he's managed to catch up in CS, and in fact past Shrimp just a little bit. It's still even between the two, but Shrimp not quite having a lot of time to look for those marks. He is on his 3rd stack though.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. You know, past that first phase of the marks. So I'll have to work a little bit harder nowadays. Meanwhile, down bottom, I'm actually quite impressed with Apollo and Xpecial. Ashe getting up to the point where these arrows can be game-changing. You know, this is the mid-game where the picks really, really count, can provide that big swing. Gold lead right now, really super close. So, you know, you make one meaningful pick with an Ashe arrow, even cross map or something like that, you can start to snowball because all towers stand right now, and it's late in the game, so definitely the damage reduction has dropped off of them, and the champions are getting to the point where they can melt through outer turrets. So you get a couple kills, you get some control of one of the sides of the map, you're also going to probably claim tower gold on top of that kill.
Shrimp once again heads towards the top side of the map. There's a fish toss from Ray, and Hauntzer immediately drops into crow form. Shrimp catches up, but Hauntzer, with his flash, is able to walk towards his turret. A little overzealous from Ray. I see what you were talking about now. Once he knows that someone's there, he just kind of maybe gets a little too greedy for the kill.
Oh yeah, need a little coordination. Everybody's got to be right on that, moving at the same time. But it's a really hard because
if you play too passive, then they'll just leave.
Yeah, he can't get Shrimp can't get much closer before the action starts. So, you know, I think Hauntzer's just in the mode now. He's like, I'm not gonna stop bullying this guy. I got my big CS lead over him. All's good. You know, that first blood definitely haunting him. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. No.
Freak's not even here, man. That's okay.
He move on.
He affects all of us sometimes. Keane continues to farm it up in mid. 15, 16 minutes in. So far, it's been a pretty slow game. Svenskeren invading is going to try to look for some deep vision before this next Cloud Drake spawns, but Shrimp is already ready with a few wards of his own. Yeah, the wards are going to be really important. I already mentioned, you know, the Ashe arrow possibilities. The Bard picks are just as real for Biofrost. You know, if these guys can get the deep vision down, which right now, TSM is the team that's controlling all of this vision around the Drake. So they're feeling really good about setting up for the possible skirmish around Drake, even though it is the Cloud Drake, the most lamented of Drakes. It still is going to stack very nicely, you know, towards the end game there. Yeah, we'll see if either of the teams decide to fight over it as Svenskeren sees Shrimp back off, and it immediately invades on the far side. Ray continues to take punishment from Hauntzer. Shrimp finally is going to catch up and be able to secure his Krugs. But Svenskeren, that's an awfully bold place for him to be. All right, well, they're going to delay here, the recall. I mean, Dragon's up in 20 seconds, so there's a possibility of trying to make an you know, a play while they know Ray's in base, and if they time their teleport really accurately, they can have the confidence to go for that. But sometimes, you know, you're fudging a little bit on the numbers there. Was it quite right when I timed that teleport? This is pretty close. Oh, Svenskeren, in fact, rushed bottom. There's a teleport from Keane completed. He goes face-to-face with Bjergsen, but it looks like TSM are just going to try to break down this tier 1. And I like this preemptive play here. They take out the bottom turret right before the dragon spawns. As we said, they had already done the groundwork of setting up a bunch of vision around this area. Now they've already got a whole bunch of map control. And actually, they're going to recall the bottom lane. So APX, after this Scuttle Crab, could try and force something. The only problem is APX didn't have vision of that recall.
So not quite sure if they can force it or not. But if they did make the immediate call, they could have bursted down that Cloud Drake.
Now it looks like they're going to have to settle for mid and Dragon instead, as Apex are going to be the ones who reap the success of that Dragon. Shrimp going to feel pretty happy about being able to kill that. Cloud Drake number 1 for Apex.
And let's look at, you know, positives of the Cloud Drake. If an Ashe arrow does hit, the other members of Apex that are running towards that person can close the distance a bit quicker. So if they do get, you know, one of those long-range picks.
You make Cloud Drake sound like someone trying to set up a blind date. Really, he's great. He has a great personality.
Cloud Drake does have a great personality. He's got the fastest attack speed. He's a talker. He's an active person.
So mobile.
If it's a he, I'm not quite sure. It might be a she.
Cloud Drake will chase you down, fastest move speed. Okay, maybe that's not a great thing to say for setting up a blind date.
Yeah, she'll chase him down. Woo, okay.
Oh, man.
He's single, ladies. Dom is accepting applications at the moment. Speed, definitely a positive.
Okay, 19 minutes in.
Less than a little bit, yeah.
Bringing it back, bringing it back. Looks like Apex sent a few members towards the top side of the map right now. Ray's on the bottom with teleport. Doublelift.
Interesting shrimp movement here. Just closing in on the top lane. Doublelift. There it is.
Oh, and the arrow hits Doublelift. They're able to kill him before he can use anything.
As much as I'd like to give some credit to Cloud Drake there, he had no part in it. Great Ashe arrow there from Apollo. Is able to get the low health Doublelift, and Hauntzer now is the one with Ray behind him, but nobody else. So he's actually fine, and it's Ray who's kind of trapping himself.
Yeah.
They would have to get a bunch of people over here. Right now, Zilean's on the way, but they probably need another person.
Yeah, he turns on to Hauntzer. Keane gets knocked up. They're trying to burn through Hauntzer. There's a Nevermore. He's down to a third health. There's another bomb, and he flashes and gets out. Oh, man, but it's not enough. Ray goes down before the Lamb's respite.
Yeah. You set up those bush ganks, and you're like, you know what? We got the advantage. We got the surprise on him. We got, we only have 2 teammates. He's actually has more health than me, so good outplay, though, from Hauntzer, because it was actually really close in that skirmish, and the flash over the wall there. He obviously left the Crow on the other side, ending up with the extra damage there, and he does get the kill onto Ray, so pretty big outplay from TSM in the 2 versus 2 there. Increases their gold lead. They also have map pressure, so a lot of damage taken here from the mid turret during that time, and Bjergsen stacking up on this Azir, becoming a very, very threatening mid-game force, even though TSM did get picked off. Pretty good answer right there. And they're wearing away at the turrets as well. So let's take another look. Yeah, so Ray was sitting in that bush the whole time. He was about half life. And again, it was just going to be the 2 versus 2 since they didn't wait for Kindred. Ray does end up going down just outside that Lantern fight. So
there's a fight at the red buff. Xpecial gets shredded by Doublelift. Svenskeren now is left far too deep. Ray's actually going to chase through the tunnel and dodge over the side. So it is a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, pretty even skirmish there, but jungler down for support. Let's see if this 2 versus 2 actually comes to a head. Shrimp's going to face check the bush, though. He can do that because he's strong.
Currently 0-2, 100 CS. Feeling pretty strong about himself.
Also, I guess the Ashe arrow was still down from the last pick, so not really a threat of following that up. But Ray's going in on double.
Yeah. Oh, and Shrimp is going to follow up. There's a flash. Good stun is going to lock Shrimp down. Teleport completed from Hauntzer, and suddenly Apex might have gone too deep. There goes the respite, but Ray's not in it. He's going to drop to Doublelift. Shrimp is forced to back out. The chrono shift is, going to proc in time. And meanwhile, Apollo is forced to flash the wall. Shrimp, though, will go down to Bjergsen.
Once again, TSM with an outplay here. They collapsed into their own jungle, and that teleport timed with that Bard stun right onto the same ward, or the wall and the ward right next to each other. Another bunch of kills here for TSM, starting to run away with the gold lead. And the turrets, again, the outer turrets are pretty weak, so they might be soon to follow. This is going to be another bush play attempted, possibly from the TSM duo. They get a little bit impatient, don't want to wait around.
Yeah, looks like they're just going to play it safe instead. Apollo charges forward. He's got the arrow, but Doublelift knows it. Holds on to his dash and decides not to overextend for it, and Apollo just takes a bit of damage. And everybody continues to farm it out. Shrimp is actually, Ray, excuse me, is on his way towards that top side of the map. But there's so much vision from TSM. They've got to make sure that this is clean.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to, you know, make moves like this if you... Oh!
There's the arrow. He gets the turret. Ray off the wall. Ray is going to chase from the bottom. Tempered Fate misses. There's the flash, and Biofrost is caught. He's going to be gifted over to Apollo, and Ray's not done just yet. There he goes. Now he's done.
Okay, there's still fighting going on the top side, though.
Yeah,
Shrimp
really
going in on Sven.
Keane takes a lot of damage as Svenskeren and Bjergsen trade it back. Try to collapse on Apex as they're heading towards the top lane, but they don't get any kills.
Yeah, they defend the flank here of the 3 people who were diving on the duo lane. Apex do get the kill and successful extraction mission as well. Desperate teleport here to try and save the turret. I don't know if it's going to work, though. I don't think so.
Ooh, barely misses the minions, and unfortunately it's not enough. The turret goes down, and Bjergsen says, "This was yours? No, this is mine now."
Classic Bjergsen versus Keane.
Yeah.
Stealing the Urgot counter, stealing his mid turret.
And the Zilean.
True enough.
Oh, man.
And it's blue buff 2.
Oh.
All your base belongs to me. That was close enough. All right, but TSM, I have to say the one consistent thing that's been throughout almost entirety of the last 20 minutes has been the ward control for them. And they've really had the first step here on Apex. This Dragon, or Drake as well, is going to go over to them. And the vision game has been very top-centric for Apex, and that has not paid off. They weren't able to make the early moves up top work, and the late moves here haven't worked either because, I mean, I guess they get this kill, but it's the extended chase that does get turned around. So here it is, the kill onto Biofrost. He's going to take that fish for Doublelift. What a support. And there's going to be that kill. Doublelift does end up getting away, but you know what happens afterwards. Oh my goodness,
wow.
It's a very, very early Baron. That's going to deal a lot of damage. You don't have anyone strong tanking it.
In vision as
So
well.
you're going to have to run.
Apex back
Here comes
away.
Bard can pick somebody off.
Svenskeren gets the knock up onto Ray, but he hops over the wall. There's a chilling smite. Culling is going to do some good damage. Oh, there's the chrono shift. Ray doesn't have his flash. The Never Move is not going to be able to lock him down. Yeah, TSM extend forward, and they're able to burn a few big abilities, but now they might be looking for this tier 2.
Yep, they've got the minion waves moving up the mid lane. Svenskeren taking a little bit of damage, but I think TSM can actually just take this time to shore up that vision game on the top side. You know, there's a few wards that Apex were able to get down there in the meantime. They might want to clean that up a little bit. There goes one, double takes out. But they need True Sight for that extra line.
Once again, the vision for TSM is just so strong. Sightstone first on Svenskeren. Just patrolling the map left and right. Keep an eye on Shrimp. Keep an eye on potential gank paths. Bjergsen Doublelift. Oh man, Bjergsen is able to land it. There's the chrono shift on cooldown, but there are 4 members of TSM. He flashes, and he's in fact going to be able to make it out. Double bomb onto Doublelift. Is it going to be enough to kill him? I'm not quite sure. Yes, Keane is going to get it. There's the Never Move, and Shrimp drops the respite. Apex are able to turn this around and get out. Oh, except for Apollo.
Yeah, he was at the back too. He didn't notice that sneaky little soldier. I guess he blended in with the background there. Bjergsen's got these secret agent soldiers for Azir. And they take down Apollo. That's a really big kill actually, because that allows TSM to make this transition up to top side, and that might be the last outer turret for them. Apex looking to try and cut off Bjergsen though.
Yeah, Svenskeren trying to run bodyguard, keep Apex off the turrets. Ray rushes forward, and yes, it looks like TSM are going to have to back away. Ray gets caught by a snare. Never Move is going to find Shrimp, as that's actually the Tempered Fate. Svenskeren looks to dive, flash by Shrimp. Ray is trying to shred through Hauntzer, but he's already got his Zonias. There's a chrono shift onto Ray. Will he be able to come back up and look for another one? No, they journey out to safety.
Biofrost with the escape hatch, magical journey, everyone out the backside. Mission aborted, and everyone was able to live as well. Woo.
Yeah, so before this game, we were talking a lot about how TSM have the fastest win time right now in the NALCS. Well, this game, they're taking a much slower pace.
Yeah, they do have about 6 minutes or so to get that average time. Here comes the Bjergsen play, though. Isolating Keane. He does have flash for right when he gets back up, and the rest of the time, the rest of the team was able to join in that time, but Bjergsen, as we said, or Doublelift, got double bombed, and he's out. Let's take a look at Apollo's positioning here. Where does the soldier hide? It looks like he's hovering on the edge, and then he just walks into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hold that soldier just hiding in plain sight, standing still. Apollo can't see you if you stand still.
Little known fact, Apollo is a T-Rex.
Yep.
Can't see if it can't move. Svenskeren now going to clear out the Scuttle Crab as Apex. 4,000 gold behind TSM, but even in kills as TSM are continuing to encroach on Apex's territory. Trying to make these plays happen more and more.
Well, they return to the top side, and finally they will be able to knock down that turret. There's the extra gold they're looking for, as well as the ability, the crucial ability to move their ward lineup all the way through both quadrants of Apex jungle. TSM, they've been at the walls here as far as Apex territory, and now they can move in. They can try and bait this Baron. Pink ward inside will allow them. It kind of forces the move here from Apex.
Yeah, they're trying to sneak it right now. Doesn't look, yeah, it's just spotted out by Apollo. Here comes the rest of Apex. Spray has his teleport as well. Arrow is going to find Doublelift, but there's no follow-up. The rest of TSM turn on to Keane. There's a tempered fate, and TSM have found an amazing fight. Keane on top of the respite. Ray doesn't even hop over the wall. They clean up one. Now that's two. Ray is in the back, but there's no one that he can turn onto as TSM might have been up. There they go. Finally able to drop Apollo and Xpecial. This is a surgical cleanup, and Bjergsen gets a solo kill onto Ray.
What a tragedy for Apex there. Oh my goodness, they were split, and Biofrost has a great Bard ultimate. Pretty big pick there for TSM on Keane at the same time, and that was very, very clean. That might be them pushing towards that average game time, Dom.
Yeah.
Trying to hit that almost 34-minute mark, but boom, there it is. They go in on Keane at the same time, trap both Apollo and Shrimp. Then there's no escaping from this, because TSM, they're all together. That team fight is so, I don't know, it's just clean from them. They're all right next to each other, and Apex are the ones that are split up. Ray's bouncing around the backside, and they cannot recover from it.
Yeah, just a little bit too slow from Apex to really recover and catch. Now with the Baron buff, Bjergsen once again gonna steal away Keane's blue buff. Oh, Svenskeren got the auto attack to the last
That's one of those things where it's a very rare that I side against the jungler, but you're a full damage rek'sai. You're not helping, but continuing to attack that blue buff. Bjergsen on the Azir at this point is like, pretty sure I got this taken care of.
Yeah.
Just stand there, bud. I don't need your auto attack that has no extra attack damage on it.
Yeah. Okay, so Ocean Drake just got secured by TSM. That is, oh no, that was a Cloud Drake. Secured by TSM. And now TSM are going to shove down the mid lane. This tier 2 turret is destroyed. They've got 3 minutes now to try to end the game. To hit that average game time before
they bring shame onto the TSM family name.
Well, they're doing pretty well so far. 2 tier 2 turrets have gone, and they got that third dragon.
Well, remember also, that's just the average game time that they had. So they had games above that time. Looking to lower it here, though, as they've got 2 lanes pushed up with Baron buff. They even sent Hauntzer back with teleport, so it's going to clean up the 3rd lane as well. 3 lanes of income. They're also pressuring inhibitor turrets. Huge gold lead, so barring a very, very big mistake from TSM, Apex actually need to just go for, you know, some Hail Mary move, all in kind of. Ashe arrow, first person they see, and just try and all mob on Bjergsen or something.
Yeah, Apollo's been landing some good arrows onto Doublelift this entire game, pretty much through TSM's team fight. So the question is, can he find Doublelift? Can he find Bjergsen before TSM take all of the tier 2 turrets? 2 of them are down. The 3rd one's about to fall. There is no answer for Apex so far. 32 minutes in. We've got 1 minute and 30 seconds for TSM to try to push forward. It might be the Hail Mary that gives TSM that average game time.
Well, they've got a lot of wards behind them. Look at how ridiculous it is on the bottom quadrant. They see Ray doing the Gromp. So even if Ray started channeling teleport, they'd be all right with it.
Ooh, oh, Tempered Fate finds Apollo. He's got no summoner spells. There's a Chrono Shift to keep him alive. And Hauntzer going to continue zoning forward. Apollo goes dead. There goes the Lamb's respite. And almost on the clock, TSM turn it on. Bjergsen gets a double kill. They're going to zone the rest. A huge bomb from Keane is enough to buy some time as Ray and Keane run into the base. Bjergsen with a triple kill in the fountain. But TSM have got a wave of minions. They've still got the Baron buff. They're going to look to take this game against APX.
TSM looking pretty hot right now, Dom. This game over under the average game time. Congratulations. They lower it by a few seconds and they take down APX in the first game. This is a best of 3 though.